Venus, a good
How
level.
bad, how bad was the heat, and how was your reaction to it?
Yeah, it was warm. That sun is strong. Thankfully, I live in Florida, so I think it prepares you for a lot. So I got pretty comfortable pretty fast.
How good were you feeling off the ground today? It seemed like the consistency was there. That was maybe not as consistent in the first match.
Yeah, I felt really pretty good off the ground. This court's tricky. It's a ball stop, so a lot of times you're not hitting the ball where you think you're going to hit it. So it definitely takes adjustments. I don't know if there's enough time to actually adjust anyway. You just kind of like deal with it. So it's an interesting court, and felt like I was being able to like string points together, which of course puts pressure on my opponents if I'm not making as many errors.
It was the first time you've beaten Lucie for, I think, 7 years, and it had been a while since you'd even played her. What did you look? How good is it to finally score a win over her, and what did you know from or take from those previous matches into today?
Yeah, honestly, I haven't played in a while, so even I had to look at like what happened in the past. It looks like she won the last two, but what can you do except play the match that's happening today for me and for her? And like I said, the surface is tough. I think it was hard for her. The surface probably favored me a little more.
You said you really, really, really wanted to win the tournament in California.
Yeah.
Just talk about that and what your motivation.
It won't be easy. It won't be easy. But I'd like to try. What else can I do except try? And it hasn't really been the easiest draw either. I've played some opponents who know how to play tennis. And just because your ranking says this doesn't mean that you do not know how to win a match. And I've had history against these opponents, so not the easiest draw, and so it's good to come through that.
And just after you left, I think after you left the court, they started to play Aretha's song "Respect."
Oh, okay, I missed that.
And people near me were saying, "Hey, isn't that what it sort of was all about all these years?" But just talk about that. It was sort of interesting that they played that song.
I missed it, so we might have to do an encore. But it was I love Aretha Franklin. She's everything.
Venus, I know you're not one to spend too much time looking back, but do you ever think about the way you saw the game when you were first coming up on the tour?
Yeah, I didn't see anything. I just hit hard. I don't know, in some ways it's almost better because you are free. You just play. I was without boundaries. But now you think, and you're trying to structure a point, structure a game, play the percentages, with still be aggressive, and it's a whole nother mentality. So, yeah, it's nice to have that moment, but of course, there's more success when you actually know what you're doing.
What about the way you look at losses, too? Young players tend to think it's the end of the world sometimes early in their careers when they're losing.
I never thought it was the end of the world, but I do hate feeling bad. So, of course, I'm extremely motivated by losses, but I don't allow it to ruin my life or the life of those around me any longer. So, yeah, you have to like grow up and try to get some perspective, and that's not easy. It takes a while. It takes a long time, like decades, literally.
Venus, speaking of that perspective, it's such a rare thing to have an athlete be a bona fide living legend like yourself and your sister and Roger and Tom Brady, and players that are considered some of the best of all time that are still relevant competitors right now. When you walk out onto the court, does that add or maybe take some of the pressure off of you?
I think it takes the pressure off because I don't think any of the players you mentioned have anything to prove. We just here because we love it and we know we have a lot to give. We have winds in our body that are just aching to get out, and that's how I feel. Like I can hit the ball and I can hit it well. If anything, I feel like I'm just getting better. So as long as I'm improving, I want to be here. On the day that I'm not improving and this is a realization, then that's when you know you have to walk away. So not there yet.
So it's great to feel free without boundaries. Just talk about that feeling. That's hard-earned and must be great.
Indeed, there are boundaries, and the boundaries are you don't know how to win, so you you don't win the event. Not a lot of players can win events. I think that was like, did that Capriati maybe won her first tournament? yeah, it's unheard of. So she was clearly is a legend. But there are boundaries. You just can't see them at the moment. The boundary is the success level you're going to have. So I misspoke.
Given your health problems in the past, how are you feeling now? I mean, you certainly seem to, do you feel good? I mean, is this as good as you felt in a while, maybe?
Life is good. I can't complain. I can't go to the doctor and say what's wrong with me. I already know. So I don't want to go to the doctor. I just want to play.
Great.
You have more pressure planning your next tournament preparation or your sister's wedding?
Oh my God. Definitely the wedding. I don't know. I mean, she's really taking it easy. She's definitely a great bride. So I'm proud of her for that. I think it's probably easy to get crazy. Nobody asked me to marry him before, so no, I avoided it. But I guess if you find a good one, you've got to figure out how to make that work. So I'm happy that she's found a nice one.
Venus, when you were a kid and your dad was feeding you tennis balls, was the joy there from the very beginning?
I feel like I'm the most joyful now, honestly. I've clearly loved the game. You have to play this long and to deal with the pressure and to put in the amount of work that it takes. But I definitely feel like I'm peaking in terms of the love level. I'm enjoying the competition. I like this.
But did it take a while to fall in love with the game in the beginning? Or was it more like, you know, he's training us, we've got a job to do here, or did you love being out on the court?
I didn't think at all. So that in a way it's a good thing. I just didn't think. I was there, I did it. Yeah, so I was oblivious. It's the best way to describe it.
I thought I saw Arancha Sanchez Vicario from across the way. What are your recollections about your first match with her, and have you ever spoken to her?
We never talked about that match, but she's definitely one of the toughest players to play as a youngster because she's just crafty and she knows how to win. And that's the hardest thing for a young player is like figuring out how to win the matches. So I definitely think that was a great experience for me, and it was definitely a measure of the potential I had in my body. And that was a good thing that I got to play her so early on.
You can just talk about, you know, it is a difficult draw, and you could potentially get another tough one next with Aga, very different from the first two opponents. So,
Yeah.
can you just kind of break that down a little bit?
Yeah, we've played a lot. Not so often recently, but I'm not sure there'll be any mystery there for me or her. The mystery's over. You know, we know what to expect, and both of us have to execute our games well to beat the other. And we'll see who I play. I'm not sure, and I would like to win again. I'm gonna try.
Emma Stone's a pop culture question, but Emma Stone's next movie is going to be as Billie Jean King in The Battle of the Sexes. I just kind of want to get your thoughts about her casting, but also the movie and the timing of the movie, because there's a lot of talk about women and politics and stuff, and now this movie's going to come back and kind of look at
Yeah,
her.
it's Women's History Month. I'm not as familiar with actresses as I should be.
Oh, Emma Stone just won Best Actress.
Yeah, I didn't see that. But I'm happy for but I love Billie, so I'm very happy. I think there should be a movie about her every year. Yeah.
You start to feel like you're amongst Billie Jean and Martina and Chris Evert in terms of the people that are being looked toward as the great women, not just in tennis, but in sports, and that there's a responsibility to sort of impart that wisdom of sort of this Mount Rushmore of women's tennis players that you're now on?
I don't think about it on a daily basis. I've got to be honest. Every day's a grind. And I'm just out there trying to make a difference on the court, in my life, and others' lives where I can. So it's not necessarily a massive conscious effort. And I mean, in the time of Billie Jean King, it was definitely, okay, women's rights on the world scene. And now it's a little bit more, it's not as, you know, in your face. Recently it's more, but, so it's a different moment. So they had an opportunity to do great things, and they did, and it's awesome.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.